Most people buying the first binoculars make the same mistake. They see a big number on the box, 20x, 25x, sometimes even 30x, and they think more magnification means better binoculars. So they buy those, and then they go out birding. The image shakes with every heartbeat, they can't find the bird, and they think birding is too hard. The binoculars were the problem, not them. Today, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know how to pick the right binoculars for birding in India without wasting money on the wrong pair. My name is Balaji and I've been watching birds in India for over 20 years. I review eBird data for Coimbatore and I co-authored the Birds of Coimbatore Field Guide. I've birded everywhere from the shoulder forests of the Nilgiris to the mudflats of the Park Street. I've used cheap Porro binoculars, mid-range roof prisms, and I've also had the chance to look at some of the fancier European glass. So when I talk about what works in Indian conditions, the humidity, the low light inside our forests, the glare of the open wetlands, I'm speaking from a lot of time in the field. And when I want to make this practical, I'll tell you what those numbers mean, which designs make sense for which habitat, what the good brands are, and roughly what they cost, and how to take care of your binoculars so they last for years in India's climate. Let's get into it. There are two basic designs you will come across. The first is called a Porro prism binoculars. You can spot it easily. The front glasses are wider apart in the eyepieces. That's the classic zigzag shape. These have been around for decades, and the reason they are still popular is simple. They give you very good optical quality for the price. The glass and the manufacturing are less complicated, so your ROI go further. The downside is that they are a bit bulkier and they are not as naturally weather resistant as the other type. The second design is the roof prism. That's what most serious birders carry. Straight barrel, compact, sleek. The prisms sit directly behind the objective lenses, so the whole thing is narrower. These are much easier to seal against moisture, which matters a lot in India. If you're birding in the Western Ghats during the monsoon or starting on a coastal mudflat in the spray, a sealed roof prism is a real advantage. The catch is that you get good optical quality in a roof prism design. You need a better manufacturing and a special coating on the prisms called phase correction. So the cheaper roof prisms can actually look worse than a comparable Porro. Budget of under 10,000 rupees, go Porro. Once you are in the mid-range or above, roof prism is the way to go. Now, the most misunderstood thing on the box, those two numbers, say 8 by 42. The first number is the magnification, 8 times. The second number is the diameter of the front lens in millimeters, 42. People always ask why not use 10 times or 12 times magnification? More reach, right? Here's the problem. The higher the magnification, the more you amplify every small movement of your hands, even your pulse. So in a forest, tracking a small warbler darting through branches, a shaky image is worse than a slightly lower magnification image that's steady. 8 times magnification, written as 8x, gives you wider field of view and a brighter, more stable image. It's genuinely easy to use for forests, city parks, mixed scrub, anywhere birds are close and moving fast. 8 by 42 is the right choice. 10 times is not wrong, but it's a specialist choice. If you mainly watch distant shorebirds on a mudflat or raptors soaring high above open grassland, the extra reach is useful. But for general birding across India's habitats, start with 8x. Binoculars come in three size classes: based on their front lens diameter. Full size, typically 8x42, are the most versatile. They gather the most light, so they work well in dim light inside a forest at dawn or dusk. They weigh around 600 to 800 grams. Mid-size, like 8x42 or lighter, good for long trekking days when you are also carrying camera gear. If you give up a little brightness in low light, but in open habitats on a bright day, they're perfectly fine. Compact binoculars, 8x25 and smaller, fit in a shirt pocket, but the image is dimmer and the field of view is very narrow. They're not recommended as a main birding binocular. Use them as a backup or for travel, not for your uh, primary glass. Weight is not a trivial thing. If you ever back from a 6-hour walk with heavy pair of binoculars bouncing on your chest, you know what I mean. We talk about harnesses in a few minutes. They make a real difference. A few terms worth understanding before you buy. First is field of view. This tells you how wide your view is at a given distance. A wider field of view means it's easier to locate the bird quickly and track it in flight or through foliage. For 8x birding binoculars, look for at least 130 meters per 1000 meters. Back 4 prisms. This refers to the quality of the glass in the prisms. Back 4 gives you brighter, rounder exit pupils and better edge sharpness. Fully multi-coated, written as FMC on the label, means every glass surface has multiple anti-reflective layers. More coating layers means that less glare and better contrast. The next is phase correction. For roof prism binoculars only. Without this, the image loses contrast and sharpness. Any decent mid-range roof prism should have it. And finally, the eye relief. If you wear spectacles, aim for at least 16 millimeters. Twist up eye cups let you adjust the position precisely. Let me make this as practical as possible. 3 price bands. Under 10,000 rupees, your best option here are Porro prisms. The Olympus DPS 8x40 is widely recommended by Indian birders, typically around 5 to 9,000 rupees. The Nikon Aculon A211 in 8x42 is another solid choice. Bright image, decent field of view, and Nikon has several service centers across India. Between 25,000 and 60,000 rupees, this is where serious intermediate birders should look. The Celestron Nature DX 8x42 is waterproof and phase corrected, available around 25 to 30,000. The Vortex Diamond Black HD 8x42 around 30 to 40,000. The Nikon Monarch series, the M5 and M7 appear on nearly every international best binoculars list around 40 to 50,000 rupees. About 2 lakhs, Leica, Zeiss, Swarovski, exceptional glass, but that's a conversation for another day. A good pair of binoculars is a long-term investment. Buy the best you can comfortably afford. This is something nobody tells beginners, and it makes such a huge difference. The next strap that comes with the box is not your friend for a long birding day. After 2 hours, that weight, 600 grams, 700 grams, is sitting entirely on the back of your neck. It bounces when you walk, it swings when you bend down, and in the field, a swinging binoculars that knocks things is a liability. Switch to a harness. The most common type is an X-style harness. 2 elastic straps across the back and attached to the binocular lugs in the front. The binocular sits flat against your chest. The weight is distributed across your shoulders. There's no bounce. You can raise them to your eyes in a second. In India, decent generic harnesses are available online for around 2 to 3,000 rupees. Branded options from Vortex and others cost more but are very well made. There's a small purchase that is genuinely changes how comfortable a day is in your field. Here is something every beginner struggles with. You see a bird with your naked eye, you raise your binoculars, the bird is gone. This happens to everyone at first. The trick is to keep your eyes on the bird as you raise the binoculars. Don't look down at the binoculars. Don't look at your hands. Keep your gaze locked onto the spot where the bird is and bring the glass up to meet your eyes. Practice this at home. Pick a small object across the room. Eyes on the object. Raise your binoculars to your eyes without looking away from the object. You'll find in the field the first time you try. Also, widen your field of view by choosing 8x over 10x. A wider field of view is genuinely forgiving when you are locating a bird quickly. India's humidity is hard on the optics. This is sometimes many people don't think about until it's too late. Fungus. Fungal spores are everywhere in the air. When the relative humidity stays above roughly 70% for several days, no airflow, darkness, a bit of dust or skin oil on the glass, these spores starts growing. And fungus doesn't just sit on the glass. It digests the organic material in the lens coatings and can secrete acids that etch into the glass itself. Permanent damage. Prevention is simple, but you have to be consistent about it. Never store binoculars in the closed bag or cupboard for months. After rain or dew, dry them completely before putting them away. Use an airtight container with silica gel desiccant, the kind that comes in medicine bottles or small bags you can buy cheaply online. Keep the relative humidity in the storage below 65%. Periodically take them out and add them. If you already see a cloudy patch or a web-like growth inside the lens, don't try to disassemble the binoculars yourself. Take them to a qualified optics repair shop. In India, Nikon has authorized service centers in most major cities. For the basic models, repair can cost as much as replacement, so weigh that up. For mid-range and above, professional service is absolutely worth it. One more thing. How you clean the glasses matters more than most people realize. Never wipe dust off a dry lens with a cloth, not even with a soft cloth. There's almost always grit on a birding binoculars, and dragging grit across a coated lens surface scratches those coatings over time. Start with a blower or a soft lens brush to remove any loose particles. Then, and only then, use a proper microfiber cloth with a small amount of lens clearing solution on the cloth, not directly on the lens. Gentle circular motion from center outwards. That's it. No kitchen tissues, no shirt fabric, no direct spray onto the lens, and no strong household chemicals. This can damage coatings. Keep the lens caps and rain guards that came with your binoculars and use them in dusty and rainy conditions. It's a small habit that keeps your glass cleaner for longer. So bringing it all together, here's the practical summary. If you're buying your first binoculars and your budget is around 10,000 rupees, go for a 8 by 40 or 8 by 42 Porro prism from Olympus or Nikon. Good optics, solid value, and you can find service in India. If you're ready to invest in a longer term instrument, look at a Celestron Nature DX 8 by 42, the Vortex Diamond Black HD, or the Nikon Monarch M5 or M7. These are waterproof, well built, and optically excellent. They'll last you many years if you take care of them. Get a harness, store it with silica gel, clean gently, and if you do these things, a good pair of binoculars should outlast several seasons of hard birding across India's incredible habitats. If you found this useful, please subscribe. We put out new videos on gear, identification, and birding destinations in India regularly. And if you've been struggling with identification of common water birds, herons, egrets, waders, our next video covers exactly that with field marks that actually stick. Drop your questions in the comments. I read everything. Happy birding.